Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome once again to the Global Podcast. We are bringing you the cream de la creme, the best of the best, the finest of the finest. As you stay tuned, and we take you through why you need to be vaccinated. Vaccination as the topic for today. So, why do you want to be vaccinated, or why don't you want to be vaccinated? Vaccination has been one of the most effective tools in science, where a lot of people goes in to be vaccinated, or they get a drug against a certain infection. So today we are going to learn about why you should go for the vaccines, the implications of the vaccines, the side effects, if there are any, and others. So make sure you stay tuned to today's podcast. Make sure you subscribe, you comment, you share it for others to learn something from today, because tomorrow you are going to be my guest. Okay, so vaccination is one of the most effective tool in medicine. When you talk about that, what we mean is that it prepares your immune system to fight infections that are yet to be introduced into the system, or you are yet to be infected. Okay, yeah, so let's look at some importance of it. First, I would say that it builds your immunity against diseases. So once the vaccine has been introduced into your system, you become immunized, or you become your body begins to recognize this vaccine as part of the body. Should in case in the near future you should get infected, the body is going to take less stress in fighting the infection. Okay, yeah, so the body is going to produce some cells like the antibodies and memory cells, which are able to help you in the future to fight against such infections. So it helps to build your immune system. That is one. The second thing I would like to talk about is about the prevention of the illness and its complications. So some diseases or infections comes with so many complications, such as organ dysfunction or organ damage, or it can cause disability, or in a more serious or in a situation it can lead to death. So vaccines comes to build your immune system so that when you get infected, the potence of you being in this category where you have organ dysfunction, or you have disability, is low, or the rate at which the individual may fall out or die is low. So vaccines helps to reduce severe diseases and infections. So if you could remember, in the past early 80s or way back, there were some outbreak of infections such as measles, polio, and the likes. But now we can say that measles is eradicated, and measles is eradicated. Polio is nearly also eradicated, but I think with measles is still persisting in some rural areas, so it's nearly to zero eradication. Now let's talk about why you need to be vaccinated. Vaccination has a very, very important influence in our body. One, it builds the immune system, as I said earlier. The second, I would say that it helps when majority of a population or a community is vaccinated. It helps or lowers in the outbreak of a certain infection or disease. So for example, in the era of COVID, should in case a lot of people have been vaccinated against COVID, will not have enough death rates. Let me say that. Good. So the potence of the virus killing a lot of people reduces because we have been vaccinated. And that is one advantage or the good side about it. Okay. And I think it slows also the rate at which the transfer from one person or one infected person to the other. So you need to be vaccinated, not only COVID, but when there is a national running program for vaccination to be undertaken. And then you ask yourself, who and who needs to be vaccinated? Now, globally, studies and research have shown that there are vulnerable people within a community or within a populace. So the vaccination has to be excluding them. So we look out for the majority who are energetic, have very good immune system, and these are people be vaccinated. Mostly in Ghana, I think it's 18 years to around 60 years. Yes, so the vulnerable people such as children and babies and those aged or the immunocompromised people will be left out. So once the majority of the population is vaccinated, which is the working force, it helps to build what we call herd immunity. So the transfer or the potence or the rate at which the infection may be transferred from one person to the other reduces, and then builds a very beautiful community. So before I conclude, I would like to chip in this. With vaccination, it helps to lessen the burden or public health burden. When majority of the population has been vaccinated, the amount of money that's financially needed to purchase a certain drug to fight against a certain outbreak or pandemic reduces, and it helps the country to save enough money, and it lowers burden on healthcare workers. Okay, at the same time reducing the risk or the rate at which they can also be infected with the same infection at the moment. Okay, so I urge you that you always go to be vaccinated. Go, don't send someone I can't pay for this. So it is very, sometimes in some cases it's catered for, you don't need to pay for it. So go and get vaccinated. In a nutshell, I'll urge all of you that vaccination is a great idea, and the future is about your health. We don't say that we are not saying that infections or diseases should come and then erase human race. But once scientists are researching in everyday activities, what is going on, the interaction, they are able to predict that in the near future there might be something like these outbreaks. So we should get prepared towards certain outbreaks, because they are working with the microorganisms, and they are learning from them, and the way they are trying to dichotomize, and you understand. Yeah, they try to change their morphology when they are being administered with certain drugs or certain chemicals, so they can tell in the future that we should be very careful of this particular infection. Thank you.